Good morning. It's it's September the 2nd. On my calendar, it's the second day of fall, and I don't want to push it, but I like fall. I like jackets and sweaters and colored leaves. I like to look at them. I'm not big on raking them. One of the things I don't do a lot is recommend things like books and restaurants to people. Don't do many books because we all have our own favorite genre of books. We all have different types of literature we like. We have styles and favorite authors and so on. And so what I might like, you might find terribly boring or inappropriate. Also, I hate to recommend restaurants to people. When I go, I may have a great restaurant experience with great food, and I might say, you got to go try this out, and you go, and they're having a bad night, and it's lousy, and you're probably sitting there thinking, well, I'm not going to pay attention to what the bishop says anymore, at least as far as restaurants go. But today I do want to talk a little bit about a book I've read, and it's one I would like to recommend to people, at least to check it out. It's called A Pilgrimage to Eternity, and it's subtitled From Canterbury to Rome in Search of Faith. Looks like this. Timothy Egan. And it's his record of his experience of walking the Via Francigena. That is a pilgrim's way that goes from Canterbury in England through France, a little bit of Switzerland, into Italy, and ends in Rome. It's a long ways. We've heard a lot about, excuse me, I've heard a lot about the Camino de Santiago in Spain, but I never heard of this Camino. But evidently, it's widely used by a lot of people. But Timothy, in his book, and I think one of the things that I like about this is it's part travel log, it's part history lesson. He relates a lot of history in places he goes because these places just ooze history. He talks a lot about saints and sinners that have been in this place for hundreds and hundreds of years. But he also talks about himself, and you realize that he is on a search, as he says, for faith, a pilgrimage of faith. I don't know if he knew what he was looking for when he started, but he seems to have found something by the time he gets to Rome. I don't know that he would say he's a better Christian. I mean, he's actually a Roman Catholic. But he does seem to have a better relationship, maybe not with the church, but with God. Some of his exploits are very poignant. Some are funny. Some make you stop and think. There were times I underlined parts of what I was reading. You have to sit it down and meditate on it for a while. But I think that is the essence of a pilgrimage. On a pilgrimage, we are not just hiking from point A to point B and looking at the historic sites along the way. We're searching for something. And I think what we are searching for is on the inside and not the outside. And so I think that our pilgrimage is a search for what we believe and what we believe in. It's a search for who we are rather than who we think the world sees. It's a pilgrimage of self-discovery. And I think that the greatest pilgrimage any of us takes is this pilgrimage we call life. I think part of our reason for our existence is to discover who and what we are. Maybe to ask those eternal questions of why am I here? What do I add to the world? What do I bring to the people around me? It's a question of sometimes discovering that I have value. I'm worth something. It's walking and meditating and thinking. Something we sometimes don't do a lot of these days. We see in Timothy Egan's book some subplots. As I said, he's kind of looking for his own understanding of faith. He also has a sister-in-law who was dying of cancer that he prays for and talks to God about on this pilgrimage. You'll have to read the book to find out what happens there. He talks about people he encounters, other pilgrims, and how they are searching as well. He talks about the trials and tribulations of this pilgrimage, of fatigue and tiredness and pain, having bloody feet from time to time from walking so much, of having to stop in odd places, and then sometimes to push on in the worst of weather, because there's no place to stop. And again, I think the book is a metaphor of life. We go through life. We are searching. We're looking. We may not realize it, but we are. We have good days and bad days. We have days that are filled with pain and suffering. And we ask God to take this away from us. We have days when we want to sing to the sun, as St. Francis did. We want to spread our arms in sheer joy of being alive. There are days when our pilgrimage takes us to people we love deeply and who love us back. And in their presence we know that all is right with the world. Some days our pilgrimage brings us to people that we don't particularly like. Maybe they're unpleasant. And yet, I think the Spirit whispers in our ear that we may not like these people, but we are called to love them. And you can meditate on the distinction between liking and loving. And so we walk each day, hopefully forward, hopefully closer and closer to the kingdom of God, knowing that some days are better than others, knowing that some years are better than others, knowing that we will encounter on this trip many people, some good, some bad, mostly good, I think. We will have experiences that will make us weep, and others that may cause us to roll on the ground laughing. It's called life. And I think our life is a pilgrimage to eternity. I think we are called from the womb. As God says to Jeremiah, before you were formed, I knew you in the womb. We are called to take up this pilgrimage. We're called to put one foot in front of the other and go where God leads us. I think at the end of the journey, at the end of the pilgrimage, we will discover, I hope, I believe, the fullness of God. I think as we walk the journey, and sometimes as we look back, we see the fingerprints of God in our life, realizing that He's been there all along. So we're pilgrims together. We share the road together. And in sharing the road together, we need to reach out hand in hand and help one another along this pilgrimage of life. We need to support one another, whether it's encouraging us to get up and take another step, whether it's pointed out to us beauties that maybe we are not ready to look at today, or it causes us to listen to another person's story. And for a while, we share with them where they are. This pilgrimage of life I find fascinating, engaging, fulfilling, loving, caring. And when I really think about it, I think that the purpose that we all have is the pilgrimage. And the purpose on this pilgrimage is to engage with other pilgrims and help each other along this road to eternity. So I hope your road today is smooth and flat and free of potholes. I hope your road is filled with love and joy and happiness. Enjoy your journey, and I'll see you on the road. Have a great day.